Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
In the words of the great Bruno Mars, I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. What's going on, y'all? Bracketology, bracket busting is happening, going down right now. We are the SBTV Nation and proud to present the return of Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan, what's going on, player?
Oh, what's up, Dream? Nice to be back. You know, spent a bunch of time in Florida and then come back to crazy blizzards and like 7 degrees. But hey, it gives me an excuse to stay in and watch some great college hoop, guys.
Absolutely, Dan. Well, good morning and welcome back to you, and welcome back to the SBTV Nation.
Yes, thank you, sir.
If you've noticed the slight non-excitement in the voice of the Mad Hatter, could be because.
All I know is I got 15 out of 16 of my Sweet 16 still alive.
Wow, that's really impressive, Dan. Congratulations on that. And guys, you know what? Hey, listen, double-digit dogs for the second time in about 2 weeks had a losing day. 3-5 yesterday, Dream. Dream, that's like the second day, though. Come on.
No, I know.
It's been like 3-0s, 4-1s.
When the dogs are winning, though, I get a lot of, rhetoric on Twitter and everybody saying, Dream, look, I got a money line, North Carolina or Texas Southern. But yesterday when North Carolina was up 30 at the half, I got crickets.
My favorite, guys, was I read an article, and I can't even remember who wrote it. It was some, no name from ESPN, right? And he's writing about, this is the most boring tournament ever. And I'm like, I'm reading the article, and I'm like, this dude's a dog better.
Oh,
this
big
dude's
time.
just betting dogs.
Yeah. Well, the dogs are not winning the games.
No.
With
They're
the
just
exception,
breaking hearts.
yeah, with the exception of USC, with the impressive
Well,
comeback
Xavier.
yet again.
I got to talk about U.S. Sizzle now because, there's a couple of games and a couple of teams that have bothered me throughout this season. First and foremost, you guys know I've been a big advocate of the Pac-12, watched a lot of their games, and said that they were going to be a force to be reckoned with in this tournament. However, in that speech was not U.S. Sizzle because they got beat up by everybody else in the Pac-12. They lost to Utah, Arizona State, teams that didn't even make the tournament, and not to mention Oregon, Arizona, and UCLA beat them as well. So my issue is SMU's performance against Cincinnati really solidified me back in SMU. And, after I watched SMU yesterday and I started thinking about it, they're 6 deep. They don't have a lot of size. Don't get me wrong, they're very athletic, but they can't shoot. And I'm like, dude,
They're about to get their brakes beat off, Dream.
Yeah.
If you don't got size and you can't shoot, I don't understand. I don't know how I missed that. That's my bad for the SMU plug. I thought SMU would win the game. I didn't think USC was that big, that good of a team. Don't get me wrong, USC, heart of a lion, never gave up, but that's just a bad call on my part.
Well,
I was with you on SMU. SMU, that was one of the more pitiful performances of their season, right? I don't think we've learned anything. And I think you said this before the show. Have we really learned anything about USC? I mean, would you guys be surprised if they lose by 15 or 20 to Baylor tomorrow?
No, because they are going to lose by 15 or 20 to Baylor. I'm not going to be surprised at all. Nope. Mm-mm.
You know what, guys? I disagree with that, Dream, to be honest with you, because, SMU, obviously defensively, one of the best teams in the nation. But secondly, they can shoot. They just couldn't shoot yesterday. they average 47% from the field, Dream. That's why they had a winning pedigree all year.
Dude, but they can shoot against that. And then the last element is that awful ass conference that they're in. So they're shooting against undersized other teams because they're not getting, McDonald All-American, athletes because they're going to the better teams. It's just, to me,
you're 100%. That's a great point, Dream. Yeah. They do not face anybody with length.
No.
Well, you know what?
Think about it. Beating up on UConn. I'm taller than the tallest guy in UConn.
Right
I'm
on.
6'2". I'll go play power forward on SMU right now.
Don't get me wrong. SMU's guys, they're athletic. I will give them that, and they could run the floor. But the problem is if the perimeter shots aren't going down, you're not getting any second chance rebounds. You're not getting any offensive rebounds because you're undersized. And eventually over the course of a game, it just starts to wear on you. Now, that being said, they still made a valiant effort. I'm just saying, for me, to know all those things the right way, the eye test, like I said, the eye test against Cincinnati really shook me. First of all, it pushed me off of Cincinnati a little bit, and it pushed me onto SMU. Same thing happened to me when UCLA beat Arizona, because UCLA goes to this zone. And you guys know I was on Arizona's bandwagon all season. Arizona looks dumbfounded against the zone. So now I get off of Arizona, and then only to watch Arizona win their conference tournament and beat UCLA and show that they're very effective against the zone still.
So
certain games, the eye test bother me.
So I think with that one, because I think you and I were on the same page there with Zona, because it was, they had 3 7-footers and they got out rebounded in that game by UCLA like crazy.
No kidding.
So that's where it gets confusing when you got these huge, guys out there. But you're right. If you don't have a guy that can post up every once in a while and drop, you see, you got to have the great guard play, and you're going to have a 5 to 10 minute stretch where the guards have to take over the game, set the pace, and put buckets up. But when you're struggling and you're getting held down by USC, if you don't have a guy that can go down in the center in the low block and get you 2, 4, 6 points on a run, you're done. You're done if you don't shoot, 47 or plus %, right?
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. Well, good morning to everybody, SBTV Nation. We are breaking down what went on yesterday, and we are going to get right into it. But first, I just want to finish up on yesterday and just kind of talk to you guys about, the most dominant performances. Now, clearly, Kansas and North Carolina Dream, those are our two squads to win the national championship. I'm on Kansas, you're on North Carolina.
UCLA.
And Dan's on UCLA. And all of these teams won by double digits. Just to start off with Kansas here, Dream, Frank Mason tore it up last night, man.
I'm not going to go crazy about Frank Mason and UC Davis.
Okay. I understand.
Please back up a little bit. Don't feel yourself and your ticket because you are apropos at the bottom of the pack with your bracket.
I gotta.
We sucker punching right now.
When Kansas gets beat their next game, you'll be out of the contest officially. I'm not going to go crazy.
Not the next game. They'll lose to Oregon.
No, they'll lose to Oregon. Here you go. They'll lose to Oregon. I'm teasing. No. Frank Mason went crazy yesterday. 22 points. How does Frank Mason get 5 rebounds at what? 5'5"?
UC Davis.
Oh,
come on. Come on. We can't. Let's at least watch him play State, right? Let's at least watch that game unfold. I'm not saying they're not going to kill Michigan State.
The one thing I am going to say about Kansas, though, at least they handled the booty team like they were supposed to. Unlike the teams before, that went in and did a little struggle.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you there. They did what they were exactly supposed to do, which is why I think Kansas is better than Gonzaga. I think Kansas actually might be better than Villanova. But I still think that I just think Kansas is a flawed team. That's all I'm saying. I think they have. Every team has flaws. Something about this Kansas team. I see them getting exposed by a team like an Oregon, and even if they, if Iowa State beats Purdue like I think they're going to, I could see that being a great game.
Well, you know what? I'm looking at the rest of it here. Sore subject for you, Dan. Michigan, Oklahoma State. Michigan wins by 1 point. Brutal.
I mean,
doesn't cover the spread.
I buy the hook, like you're supposed to. I can get it down to 2. And I say, when that dude's shooting free throws, I said, please miss. I said, just stay up by 3. Either we tie and go to overtime, and I felt confident Michigan would win in overtime. But I knew if it went up 4. But here's the thing, in Dream, slap me if I'm wrong. The game was over. The ball wasn't out of his hands.
You're not wrong. I looked at it and watched it, and it said the same exact thing. Hey, that game's over. That basket shouldn't count. But nobody cared. But
I guess that's when it's time to take a gambling break. When I'm literally sitting in my office, I'm watching the game. I know what's going to happen. And I'm like, wow, I just got completely effed. There is no other way to say it. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh my God. But it was like, oh, all right. I guess on to the next one.
That's brutal. That's brutal. A couple of teams that had really big leads in the games and then got killed at the end. Miami and Marquette.
Oh, please,
dude.
With Miami.
Wow. Miami came out
Miami.
like unbelievable.
And I'm glad you talked about the Miami game because that's another eye test game where you eye test Michigan State, who loses to Wisconsin. You eye test Miami, who beats Duke and Virginia. And then Miami comes in this game and looks absolutely like soup sandwich.
They did it, but in the first like 6-7 minutes of the game, they were all over Michigan State, and whatever adjustments Izzo made, forget it, kid.
That's because Izzo is the master.
He's good,
and that's really what it comes down to. Miami blew their load early, though.
I'm gonna fall back on blowing up Izzo with this game because I honestly, it looked like maybe they gave the whole Michigan State team the Pac-Man power pills that Pac-Man used to eat because. After that first timeout, after Miami's first little run and when they went ahead, Michigan State all of a sudden put on like the Michael Jordan shoes that they had in that kid had in the game, little Bow Wow had in the game, and they went, dude. Michigan State went ham. Like everything they did worked. Every basket they went in,
100%.
They started dunking. It went. I don't get. I'm not gonna. You could say coaching as far as the timeout and showing them some things. The rest of it, them kids just went crazy, and then Miami just imploded.
Yeah, Michigan State also ended up shooting 56.6% in that game.
Sick.
Like, that's crazy. And Miami, like I said, what I think happened is, they came out, they get off that gangbuster start, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, man, we're in a game, and we were up this much, and just completely freaked out. They almost shot under 40%.
In Michigan State's last 4 games, a loss to Illinois, terrible. A loss to Maryland, terrible. A loss to Minnesota. I mean, that's what's killing me. That's what I'm saying. The eye test at the end of this season for a couple of these teams really shook me.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Well, hey, you know what? It is what it is. And a couple other teams handled their business yesterday, and I think it's time to move on, guys, because we got a lot of games going on.
The only other bad one that I will talk about.
What's the matter?
It's Seton Hall.
Seton Hall. Yeah.
I just got to talk about that real quick.
Okay.
Because have you ever seen a man trip over his own 2 feet, and then the kid on the other team gets called for a flagrant foul, then they review it, and still hold a flagrant foul?
That was a bad flagrant foul call. However,
crazy.
It was brutal.
They talked about the rule and the way it was enforced, but the time of the game and the type of it was a bad. I thought it was a bad call.
I'm saying I feel like he touched him and he tripped over his own feet. I understand it looked bad, but it wasn't like the defender did anything crazy. I'm not
going to go crazy because Seton Hall, it still was a foul, and Seton Hall was
fair enough, but it was because. But here's the thing. It was they were up 1 at the point, right? So you make both free throws and you go up 3. Seton Hall would then, if it wasn't a flagrant, Seton Hall then gets the ball with a chance to tie the game still. So that's where, it killed the whole end of the game. They should have gotten the ball with 17 seconds left with a chance to tie the game.
If he makes both his foul shots, they're only up 3?
Yeah, that was the case. He made both his foul shots because it's a flagrant. They had ball out.
Okay.
Got it.
And not that the networks would ever go to a game like this, which is insane, but whatever. That's a different story.
Hey, guys, I don't know if you've downloaded the March Madness app. Dream, did you get a chance to download that?
I did. You didn't need to download yours though.
Yeah, it was awesome. Oh yeah, very funny, Dream. Very funny. But they did a hell of a job with that this year. They did it. Good looks to you. I meant to plug you on that because I did do it the other night when you gave it to me. Yeah, that app is dope. Yeah, right. So they got a March Madness app, guys. If you go to the NCAA.com, you can click on any game and watch it from your phone, like real time. Like anything. You just switch to any game you want. So it's pretty cool if you're on the road or whatever. So, Dream, what do you want to talk about, Duke?
And move forward, yes. Before we dip set and move forward, like Hatch tried to get out of Dodge immediately. I do need to talk about Duke, and we will talk about North Carolina as well. Both teams really dominant performances, especially North Carolina. Because Hat had to question me as to what I saw in North Carolina. Well, ask Texas Southern, and they might let you know what I saw in North Carolina. As they saw way too much North Carolina, and they're good, having nightmares last night, and you're sick about North Carolina. And as far as Duke, the one thing that I found a little bit funny about Duke, and I know I know you're supposed to be empathetic towards the loser, but the Troy kids are on the sideline crying. I'm like, okay, son, stop.
You should be happy you made the tournament. Like I'm not going to mention the name of the university, but you probably figure it out. I actually have a client of mine that is one of the smaller universities, right? And I obviously gave them a call, and I was like, great job getting in the tourney. And they were like, we can't believe we're here. Like, oh my God. Like, they didn't care. And like, I don't know, Troy, come on, man. You can't look. If you beat Duke, if you lose that game by 2 points, then you cry. You got blown out of your building.
I know. I'm like, what are you doing crying? I'm like, were you listening to Hat on the program yesterday?
It's this millennial culture, Green.
So
everybody crying.
This year we got 3 11 seeds who have emerged. And you know what? Rhode Island beat the snot out of Cretan, too, on top of it. So
that's going to be a great game tomorrow, man. I'm telling you.
All right, guys. Well, let's move on and have a conversation about what's going on today. Unless, Dream, you got any more heckling?
I don't have any more heckling. Other than I did want to know, UCLA did struggle 3/4 of that game last night.
I wouldn't call it struggling.
Dude, they went in the half. They were only up 7.
Okay.
The other two dominant teams went in a half up 20-30.
I'll tell you, I'm not happy with their defensive effort at all.
Okay.
And I think it's one of those where they're just like, it's Kent State, and they definitely overlooked it, and they're lucky that Kent State isn't like, a better team, like, a Butler from like 5 years ago, because that would have been bad. But they still put up 97 points, and I expect them to absolutely murder Cincinnati tomorrow.
And by the way, they didn't cover your spread.
No, they didn't.
Neither did Zags.
3 and 5, double digits, 3 and 5 yesterday. Dream 5 losers, 3 winners.
The other thing I'm going to mention about UCLA, and I mentioned it yesterday, and I'm going to mention it again. There's extra attention being thrown at this team because of dude's dad, and it's just a bad spot for them. He's not even in the NBA yet, hasn't gotten recruited yet, and it's just extra attention. So it's one extra additive that coaching staff has to deal with in the midst of March Madness that a lot of the other coaching staffs don't have to. So keep that in mind moving forward.
Well, you see, they said he now has a hip injury, right? He's playing through a hip injury.
Wow.
I love that. I only put up 15 points. I got a hip injury.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's good.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, let's get right into today and see what we got going on. So I'm going to start off. Obviously, we're going to go right in order, okay, instead of jumping around today. This is the way we've been doing it, Dan. We've been going right in order because all these games obviously mean something. We got number 5, Notre Dame versus Huggy Hugs, and number 4, West Virginia. Press Virginia -2.5, under over of 147.5. Dan, I know you love this Notre Dame team.
I do. I'm not playing this game.
Okay.
This to me is a coin flip. I didn't like the effort from either team in their first game, right? Like Notre Dame's lucky to be where they are right now. I mean, Princeton, by the end I was rooting for Princeton, and I had Notre Dame minus the 5 points. So, thank you, Notre Dame, for just completely collapsing at the end. Something tells me that West Virginia is going to go on a run. I think this game looks a lot like how Miami lost their game, but it's going to be closer in the end. I don't know. I mean, I just think coin flip. You're going to see some big runs in this game. Notre Dame finds a way to pull it out at the end. I can't play this game one way or the other.
All right, Dream, thoughts?
First of all, this is a coin flip, and when you flip the coin and it falls in the sewer, and you can't find it. This is Grizzles versus the Pelicans right here, right? This is one of the nastiest freaking games on the board today. Glad it's at 12 o'clock. Get your stomach ache over with. Guys, if you're going to get involved in this game, God bless you. First of all,
just go take your kids out to lunch.
No kidding. Like Dan said, both teams looked terrible opening game, and I swear that Farrell told his family to put money on Princeton because he single-handedly – every time they got to 10, it's dumb in that game. I can't get over how Notre Dame looked. The other thing is, this is going to be who's gonna win the will to play their style. Notre Dame's going to want to slow you down, half-court sets. They walk the ball up. They don't get involved in transition very rarely. West Virginia will probably want to push the ball. I imagine Huggins going to tell his guys to push it. So it's going to be who's going to be able to dictate their will on this game. It is a coin flip. I think that West Virginia is more athletic. I think Notre Dame is more poised. So
Notre Dame will also have the crowd, too, by far.
And Notre Dame will definitely have the crowd, of course, because there's more people with a higher income average that send their kids to Notre Dame than send their kids to West Virginia.
Yeah, but the guys from West Virginia can drink more beers, so you got to look at what's more important.
This is true. And a lot of second and third cousins and dentists won't be there.
All I know is when you go to a football game out there, they don't even have urinals. They just have a giant trough,
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
All right.
We're just having a good time. Don't be offended if you live in West Virginia.
By the way, the line just moved from 2.5 to +3 Notre Dame.
+3 Notre Dame. Okay, well, I'm taking a look at this game, guys, and I got to be honest with you. I mean, both defenses are pretty damn good. West Virginia only... points per game allowed, Dream. Two of the best here. West Virginia 66.
So you going under 147.5 hat?
Well, let's talk it out. Notre Dame 68.89 points. Now, my question to you guys, and it's probably a really good question, is, dude, you think the games are going to slow down in the second and third rounds? Because they were 100 miles an hour in the first rounds. Dan, what do you think?
This game has no choice but to be slow.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, because if West Virginia gets out and sets their pace, it's going to be fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I also envision a lot of turnovers in this game.
A lot of turnovers.
They're slop fest. I mean, these teams are not primed. I mean, I can come out and be surprised. Maybe the first game was like, let's get the jitters out. Because regardless of what the seeds are for these teams, both the fan bases expect a lot out of them. Man, I don't know. I do think it's going to end up slowing down, but I don't know if it's a second and third round thing or just because this game is going to be sloppy as hell and the coach are going to be like, make good passes, get the ball down low. And if that's the case, then Notre Dame wins this game.
Dream, do you think they'll slow down in the second and third round?
I do think this game's going to be slowed down for the simple fact that Notre Dame plays slow and West Virginia plays sloppy. So West Virginia will not make baskets consistently, and then Notre Dame will slow the pace down. Now, the question is, do you take the under? I know what you're getting at. Mm-hmm. And the under does look good. The only problem is they're begging you to take it. And this is one of those games like we talked about earlier in the show. Triple over. You take the under,
Yeah.
This game will have triple overtime.
Well, not only that, they'll start fouling at the end. And you'll get those last buckets. Now, and Dream, awesome. We had a lot of fun with the Baylor over yesterday.
We had a great time with the Baylor over. Dr. Dan, you weren't here, but Hat and I collabed on the Baylor over, which was money.
Nice.
By the 5-minute mark of the
yeah, pretty much.
second half?
But so taking a look just real quick. Notre Dame, of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, 7 of them have all gone under. So that's something to take a look at. Notre Dame's kind of trying to slow these games down and not run.
They walk the ball up. They don't even look at the basket till about the 12-second mark on the time clock.
Yeah, exactly. So that might be something to take a look at as far as an under is concerned. I may look at that, Dream.
It's not a bad under.
Next,
147 is not bad. You know what? I would say with this game, two things. If you take that 8-point teaser, you could probably tease this either way, get either team plus the 8, and in Notre Dame's case, plus 11, and you could tease that under up 8. I think you can't go wrong.
All right. Next game we have on a ticket is a big one, and a lot of people are on the favorite here. You got number 8, Wisconsin, versus number 1, Villanova. Dream, you love the Vill.
I love the Vill. I absolutely don't like Wisconsin. We've talked about Wisconsin's up and downs all season long. Irvin has mentioned that Villanova is a little bit short as far as depth is concerned. I don't think that's going to bother them. Jay Wright's a great tactician. And right now, we haven't discussed today, we didn't get into it yet, but the cream of the crop coaches are showing why they're the cream of the crop coaches in these situations. Your Izzos, your Patinos, your Caliperis, your Coach K's. I'm not going to add Self and Williams because you know how I feel about them, but these coaches have shown the ability to get their kids motivated, make the right moves, and do the right things, and we're going to put Jay Wright right there, right with them in the mix. I like Villanova to win this game. I think they'll have a lot of success against Wisconsin, and I got Villanova rocking this.
Where you at, Dan?
Oh, God, I love Villanova.
You
because
love Villanova.
Here's the thing. Villanova has not just been beating teams on this schedule, they've been beating the hell out of teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're talking about, I mean, and we all say games you got to win, right? But, like, beating St. John's by 41. And then, you know, beating Creighton by 14. You know, beating the hell out of Xavier earlier, you know. I think Wisconsin's overrated even at the 8. I don't see Villanova. I see them be, you know, double digits.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup here. I mean, I think Villanova rolls as well, guys. I'm with you. I think Villanova is the more polished and better team. You know, this is going to be I think this might be a low-scoring game, though, believe it or not. It all depends on how Villanova defends the three-point line, because Wisconsin, if you guys watched the last game with Vatek, they couldn't miss from three-point land. So maybe
what happens if they miss today, though?
Oh, they're getting blown out. They're losing by 14 or more.
Because Wisconsin, by the way, and I know you're aware of this, has lost to Northwestern, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Iowa, and then lost to Michigan at the end of the season, and they've lost to Purdue. I mean, and Creighton. Yeah. I mean, I know that they beat Nova, and I still don't know how. It's not going down.
Well, Villanova
don't they have? I mean, one of the best perimeter defenses in the
league. They're number 21 in the land. They only allow 31% of the three-pointers to fall. Okay,
so let's say that they hold Wisconsin to their average. Let's even give Wisconsin 35% from 3.
Yep.
Villanova kills them.
Okay. All right.
I just don't see it.
All right. So I think we're all on the same page if Villanova advances over Wisconsin.
Let's do it.
Next one we got on the ticket, number 8 versus number 1. You got Northwestern versus Gonzaga. Dream, I'm super torn here. Gonzaga minus 11. 11 points with an under-over of 137.5. Dream, you're not torn. Why?
Not torn because Gonzaga has shown to me, along with a couple other conferences, these schools who play in weak conferences moving forward, playing these schools who play in the dogfight conferences, they haven't fared well. And I don't like Gonzaga today, and I don't like the 11 at all. I mean, I love the 11 if I'm Northwestern. I don't like the 11 with Gonzaga giving it. I think Gonzaga's going to have a lot of problems. That being said, can Gonzaga win the game? Yeah, they can win the game, but I don't love them, and I'm not touching it.
Dan, very interested. Northwestern. Talk to me.
I'm with you, Dan.
Shock the world?
I'm with you. I agree.
Look, Gonzaga, and you know, I know people are going to go, oh, you can't go base on this, but we always see one huge upset every tournament at least, right? And this is the perfect time for it because Gonzaga is a paper tiger. I just have no faith. I love that Northwestern's played Gonzaga teams all year. They've played teams. How many teams have they played that are in the tournament and doing well? And I'm not saying that they've won every one of those contests, right? Mm-hmm. But they know, I mean, look, I think that they shut down the big man for Gonzaga, and Gonzaga goes, uh-oh, I don't know what to do. I'm saying, look, I'm going to play it a plus 500 money line, but plus 11 all day. All day.
You got it, huh?
I just think Northwestern, this game is going down to the wire. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be an annihilation by Northwestern. But if Gonzaga doesn't win this game by double digits, what does that say about Gonzaga? Okay? And they are paper. I'm with you, Dream. This team is nothing. I think Northwestern takes them to the woodshed today.
Wow.
The woodshed. I like
woodshed. I got Northwestern in the future, so I'm going to actually be playing cheerleader for them because you know what, Dream? I care about money more than my brackets. Big time. You know what I'm saying?
Good thing.
Yeah, I have to say we'll get to the later game, but Fast Eddie actually pointed out a great money line parlay opportunity where the start is Villanova. So I'll get to when we get to the second game. I'll throw it out there, but I'm going to give him credit right away.
Oh man, it's too many people on Villanova though. That's bothering me.
But don't start that. Don't. No. This is one and done competition. Listen, don't do that. Okay, I'm going to take you right back to the Super Bowl. Okay, how about all the people on the Patriots, like you should have been? Yeah. Don't do that. Go ahead. Matter of fact, do me a favor and get off of Villanova for me, so I know that Villanova will win.
Next game on the ticket. These are the two teams that I felt the first day looked the best as far as their matchups were concerned. Number 11, Xavier versus number 3, Florida State. Florida State is minus 6.5, under over of 151. Dan, did you get a chance to look at these teams?
Oh yeah, I was heavy on Xavier.
Okay.
I was very large on Xavier because I think in that first round, again, you got to look at like the competition that the teams are playing at, right? And you got to look at the conferences a lot. And I had just felt that Maryland looked like Maryland was, again, as a 16, I was kind of laughing at that. And but here's the thing. We can't forget who Xavier is. Mm-hmm. And Xavier, unfortunately, I think is about to get spanked by Florida State.
You think so?
Bingo.
I like this Xavier team, and I've liked them all year, but we have to be realistic about the talent level. Mm-hmm. And Xavier has played a lot of talented teams, but so has Florida State. There's a reason Florida State's a 3 seed. Look, I think Xavier can hold this game close, and I don't think I'm playing it. But I think Florida State makes a run at the end and kind of wins by pretty easily.
Dream, where you at?
I'm all over Florida State because Xavier wants to run the ball. They can't run with Florida State. Florida State is way more athletic. They're going to be playing above the rim. Florida State plays to the strength of what Xavier is strong for. So it's just like it's just going to play right into Florida State's hands. This game could get ugly really quick. I don't necessarily think it's going to be that close in the beginning. I think that because I said Xavier's style, unless Xavier's perimeter shooting or they decide to change something and their coaching staff decides, like a right-hand boxer who decides to come out southpaw, unless Xavier decides to do that, if Xavier tries to do what they do, Florida State should have their way with this team. They're just too big, too athletic, too fast, and they should dominate this game. I love Florida State. I'm all over Florida State today.
You really think you think they're going to go tempo? You think Xavier's going to try to go tempo?
That's what Xavier does. Xavier loves a 3-guard set and to play tempo, high ball screens. That's what they love doing that.
Guys, let's be realistic. Xavier was kind of lucky to make the tournament. I know they're 22-13, but remember they had a stretch. Villanova, at Providence, at Marquette, at Seton Hall, Butler, Marquette, all losses. All losses.
Yeah, I know.
And, I mean, look, you're talking about wins back-to-back against DePaul? Wow. And then they came out and they beat a Butler team that could give a crap and was resting people, barely beat them, then lose to Creighton. And Maryland, come on, we all knew Maryland was pretend. They matched up super well against Maryland. You know what, Dream? You might be talking into taking this Florida State team because I don't think Xavier has really an option like to win the game. I just don't see how they could actually do it.
And please do not leave out that Xavier lost to Colorado.
Xavier lost a lot of games.
But the pack is great, Dream.
The pack is great. All right, so I Dream, I disagree.
Colorado, the Cleveland Browns in the pack.
Dream, I disagree with you. I think Xavier's going to try to slow this game down.
Well, I hope they do, because if they run, they're going to get blown out.
That's what I'm saying. If you're the coaching staff right now and you watch the tape of Florida State versus Florida Gulf Coast, they were running 100 miles an hour, and I don't think that Xavier could run with them.
I know they can't. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. But that's their style.
Yeah.
But how are you going to make them not play their style of basketball?
Well, maybe
but
just
here's the thing,
switch it
Florida
up.
State still has guys that can match up down low.
Sure.
They still have guys that can do that. Yeah. And these are NBA guys. I mean, these are guys that are fully big 6-footers that have their weight on them. I'm saying Florida State outclassed Xavier today. And I like Xavier. I had them in my bracket before I fully even looked at it. And I'm like, what was I smoking?
And Shane Whitehead says that Florida State sucks away from home. The game is being played in Orlando.
All right.
So you know, Shane.
I'm leaning the under in this game, 151. I think Xavier is going to try to really slow this game down. I don't see it being a running matchup. I don't see it being a track meet. I just don't. I could be wrong, and guys, let me do that all by myself.
Oh, you have. No problem. Let you
I'm
all by yourself.
Under 151. I'm trying to. I mean, that's. Wow, best of luck to you on that.
That's tough.
It is tough.
That's tough.
It is tough.
You're going to start. Yeah, that is Pepto-Bismol, Imodium, and whiskey.
Oh, yeah, it'll be 150 at the end. I'll win by one.
or you'll go to overtime at like 135.
Or I'll get the 0.2 seconds left foul.
You know what you hope, though? What you want is you do want a blowout, though.
Yeah, right. Right,
and
exactly.
You get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 75-55.
All right. Next one we got on a ticket is a team that one of the ugliest teams in the tournament here. Number 12, Middle Tennessee, who didn't really shock the world. They were favored versus Minnesota, and I see why now. Versus number 4, Butler. Butler minus 3.5, under over of 139.5. You got to go Butler here, right, Dream?
I don't know. I don't know enough about Middle Tennessee.
Yeah,
I mean,
31 wins.
But I don't know. I like they beat Minnesota. I was all over. Not really all over Minnesota, but I was liking Minnesota because you had turned me on to them. Then I forgot who you were, and but no, I don't know enough about Minnesota Tennessee, and I don't really know how they beat. I mean, I know they beat Minnesota, but I didn't really watch it, in its entirety to see how they did it. Butler, we've had Butler all season punch me in the face. I talked about them this season being, inconsistent. So I'm staying away from this game. I don't know who's going to show up. These teams kind of remind me of each other slightly. I don't have a feel for this one.
Dan?
I am leaning Middle Tennessee here because Butler's had a hard time scoring the ball.
Okay.
And that does not lend well. If you're cold from the field in the tournament, that's a dagger. It's a dagger. And then, Butler will probably start to press. This is tough. I mean, again, not knowing enough about Middle Tennessee to put money on this game, but I could see it going really down to the wire.
And that conference is dusty that Middle Tennessee plays in.
Yeah, right. Very good point.
Again, eye test, you have no idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have no opinion on that game. I'm staying away from it, to be honest with you. Moving on to the next one, Dream. We got your squad here. We got number 2 Arizona versus one of the best defenses in the land, but manages to get smoked by Gonzaga every time they play them. St. Mary's, 29-4 on the year. Arizona only minus 5.5. Pac-12 action, Dream. with Arizona. You're on. I know you're on Arizona. What you got?
No, I'm on Arizona all day. I don't need to get into it. David, and Trier stepped his game up. Last game Arizona played looked really, really good. They looked really, really dominant. They got the bigs. They got the size. They got the depth. They got the guards. They got the shooting. They can run it with your transition. I mean, they're not the greatest transition running team because their bigs are a little bit slow them down a little bit, but they got all elements. I got Arizona winning this game.
All right.
There's too much size.
Dan?
Yeah, and again, I'll give props to Fast Eddie, but I mean, I think we were all leaning this way. Second part, moneyline parlay, Villanova in Arizona. Go cash your check.
Yeah,
Go
I think that's a good
put it
play.
on that moneyline parlay. It is just, I think it's like minus 107. So that's great.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
awesome.
You got to go and take it to the bank.
Right on. Yeah, I think Arizona emerges as well. You know what, St. Mary's, I've seen a couple of games now, and I mean, just the fact that they can't
They
even
get
hang.
beat by Paper Tiger Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Arizona's going to dominate them.
All right. I think we're all on the same page here. Next one on the ticket. This should be the ugliest game of the weekend. Number 5, Virginia. Number 4, Florida. Florida -2. Under over of 126. Wow. Dan, nasty game.
So I've decided that this is where I take my break for the day.
This is where you take your break for the
This
day.
is where I take my break and let my eyes rest. Maybe catch a shower and some food. Clean myself up from the wins or losses. Because, I mean, maybe you put your money on the under and just walk away. But man, Virginia is like a shell of itself, and they are just like the ugliest shooting team that I've ever seen.
Sure.
And then Florida, I mean, they should win this game, right? They should win this game going away. But again, I don't have any want to watch this ugliness.
Tough matchup here. This is very ugly. And both of these teams are under monsters.
Let me get the mic.
We got.
Let me get the mic. There's nothing ugly about this. Florida's going to beat the brakes off of Virginia. And, and this game is going to go over. That 126 is – I love the over in this game.
Really?
I absolutely love Florida. Virginia's offense is so trash.
Yeah, but
right?
they might only put up 40 points.
That's the thing.
That's the problem. Okay, that I'll give you, but Florida will put up the rest. If they put up 40, Florida should be able to put up the rest. This Florida team, I can't talk enough about – think about Florida. Florida won changes coaching staffs 2 years ago, okay, and then lose their center this year, and yet still are still able to have success. The other big guys that Florida have stepped up, like we talked about in the middle of the season. We just saw Virginia on the ropes in the first half of their last game on Thursday.
Yeah.
This Virginia team, awful all season, haven't played well offensively. Yeah, I know about their defense, whatever. If cats are draining your shots, that defense is non-existent, as far as basketball is concerned. I am a little bit worried about Florida's post-game. Outside of their post-game, the perimeter shooting should be good enough, should be able to run the floor well enough. I think this game goes over, and if Virginia gives you 40, Florida will give you the rest to get it over to 126. I like Florida today a lot.
Wow. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely more athletic than Virginia, that's for sure.
Oh, that Virginia team.
Right on.
And
You're talking about a team that's lost 3 out of 4, including back-to-back games to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I understand. All right, last game on the ticket, 9:40, Iowa State versus Purdue. Even pick'em line, under over of 152.5. Dream your squad, Purdue. You know what? I don't know what to make of either one of these teams, to be honest with you. Iowa State comes in and shocks the world and wins the Big 12. And then Purdue obviously makes their early exit as usual. Talk to me, Dream.
Caleb Swanigan. Grown man moves. Part 2. All
right.
I love Swanigan, man. I love this Purdue team. I know you guys. I know you don't see what I see in them. Me, myself, along with the Irv Master, really like this Purdue team. I mean, they're just that. Purdue to me is a better version of SMU.
Okay.
I mean, that's where I'm at. It's too bad Isaac Haas can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time, because then they'd really be a force. But he has got to be one of the biggest, clumsiest dudes out there on the floor today. You know, I don't know this Iowa State team like I know Purdue. I do know Purdue pretty well. Iowa State, they got a couple of good wins under their resume. You said they won their conference. Very impressive on their part with that. I still don't think they're going to be able to deal with Purdue's physicality, Purdue's size, and Purdue's offensive rebound capabilities, which should give them second shot attempts. I'm going Purdue. I don't love this game, though, but I'm going with Purdue.
Okay. See, I'm all over Iowa State here.
The Cyclones.
And it all goes Monty Morris, baby, right?
Yep.
I mean, point guard play. Point guard. I think Purdue reminds me of like that Wisconsin team from a couple years ago. They're just a bunch of big, clumsy dudes.
Yeah,
getting their own way. They're going to try and slow it down. I think Iowa State is going to run all over them.
Really?
I just think that there's going to be, like, again, an 8 to 10 minute stretch in the game where the guard play for Iowa State completely manhandles whatever Purdue is trying to do.
Purdue's too good defensively, though, for that. They're not going to get manhandled. Purdue's not getting manhandled defensively.
I don't know. It's a different time. Like, I don't know if they can play this game if Iowa State's going to want to play. If Iowa State sets their tempo, I just really think that Iowa State, and look, I'm with you. I know Swanigan he's good and he's big. I mean, 6'9", like 250. And I just, and then obviously you have a big 7-foot center. I just think that the little guys are going to win this game. I just think the speed is going to really be another level that Purdue's not going to be able to deal with.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, guys. So I don't have an opinion on that one at all. I'm staying away from it. I'm going to that's the one I'm going to
until 9:30 tonight.
Nah, that's not what I'm doing. Not tonight. No sirree. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for the card of NCAA tournament action. So I think we need to kind of bounce it around, and we need to talk real quick. Dreamer, you got any NBA, NHL going on tonight?
Oh, I got a little NHL. I haven't looked at the NBA. Let's look at the NBA really quick and get up out of this piece so I can get my plays in. I got to figure out how to put this thing all together. Guys, by the way, one quick thing. If you haven't figured out how to put your plays together, but you got one game going off early, go ahead and play it and leave the spots open. You can fill it later. I mean, don't forget you have that advantage to do as far as your wagering is concerned. Because sometimes, like, you can't make the call, but your game's getting ready to go off. You're like, I can't figure out what I'm going to put it with. Just go ahead and put it in, and then take your time and then figure out. Don't feel rushed because you have that open spot. Use it. And also, don't forget you got that chain additive to chain these games together, parlays, the chain thing we talked about over the past. Great element to use in this tournament, where you can put a little bit of money up and get the most out of your money by, re-rolling it over. So don't forget those. Cavs play the Clippers. What's up?
Clippers suck, man. But they're playing Cavs in LA, and the LA Clippers are giving them 2 points, Dream.
So that's what's up. Talk to me.
It all depends. It's all commensurate on who's in the game tonight, and it's too early to tell.
Okay, that's fair.
Did
you guys? I mean, yeah, because you don't know who they're going to throw out there.
You don't know who you're going to throw out there. Number one, number two, you got the Clippers, losers of 3 straight games, who are dying for a win, and Cleveland's got a target on their back every time somebody plays them. They're the defending champions, so I would expect LA Clippers to throw everything they have at the Cleveland Cavs tonight. So that's a scary game for me.
I don't really think that the Cavs got that star on their back as far as the West Coast teams are concerned.
Oh, sure.
I don't know that the Clippers are more just trying to get a win to me than even being worried about the Cavs. The problem I'd be concerned with the Clippers is that they're in LA. Which I mean the Cavs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I definitely hear that out at the club.
Yeah, no doubt.
Killing it right now. About 5 deep.
Yeah. Right on.
Well, the game that I need your guys' opinion on this, because I don't know if you saw this yet, though. Houston at Denver. You see the number on that game?
Oh, 239?
239 and a half.
That's the Nuggles.
That's because the Nuggles, it'll be 150 points at the half, Dan.
That's the Knuckle. Knuckle's going to let James Harden probably get 100 points himself.
If you are a fantasy basketball player, just take both teams. Just take all the players from both of these teams, and you're
I'm going to play
golden.
daily fantasy tonight, just so I can draft pretty much everybody from like those two teams, and maybe someone from Golden State since they're home tonight against the Bucks.
So real quick, I'm glad you brought that up because it might be a situational spot. Be advised, last night in the third quarter of the Buck-Laker game, the Lakers did what they do best, which is not play basketball and started a fight. Right, so the Bucks and the Lakers got into a fight. Luke Walton's been a little bit vocal about what happened and what went down, and sending out his warnings. So they got a little bit of scuffles going on, and now the Bucks take their travels up to Golden State, maybe a little bit banged up and bruised up, and they're feeling a little bit emotional, perfect opportunity for Steph Curry and the boys to light them up. I don't know if you guys are on this. The spread is 11, which is a little bit heavy as far as I'm concerned, especially the way Golden State has been playing as of late. They did cover the spread in their last game, but they weren't playing the likes of the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm just pointing that out to you as far as a situational spot. You might want to give the under a shot, as I don't think that Milwaukee will come out and score a ton of points tonight.
Okay.
So the under 215 in the Milwaukee Buck Golden State game might be something to take a look at as far as that's concerned with basketball.
All right. Sounds good. One more game on the ticket here. Do you think that the Spurs are back? 52-15. They just lost. They're coming off the loss, but they're playing the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis tonight. I think the Spurs are way better team.
Again,
than the
who's
Grizzlies.
playing?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, got to see.
Got to see who's playing, and the Grizzlies will ugly you to death.
Ugly you to death, no doubt. Absolutely.
You guys got any thoughts?
You know what I love is that the Memphis Grizzlies and the Virginia Cavaliers are playing at the same time tonight. So that's two boring games right there. Bang. No side
any
here.
Any thought about the Wizards at Charlotte tonight?
This Wizards
That's
team,
Dream's
they've
team.
been pretty good this season. I've been keeping an eye on them slightly. Sin City Maverick. Guys, by the way, I wanted one more thing. I know I talk too much, but I want to talk a little bit more. The nation. I can't thank everybody in the nation enough. This March Madness thing so far has been a very successful venture because I've been doing a lot of talking with a lot of people out there. Rick Lopez, Cash Action Bets, Direct Sport Solutions, Irvin, Jeff Ryan. I'm back and forth with a lot of people, and that's just to name a few guys off the top of my head because I'm not looking at it. But guys are throwing me, hey, Dream, what do you think about this? And then I say I think about that, and I've been able to switch. Thursday I came out the gate and lost because the guy I talk to every day, threw me off the Virginia play. I took Notre Dame, but Direct Sports Solution throws a teaser at me, which is something like what I usually do, and it helped me get back on track. So gang, listen, I don't know if you guys are communicating with each other. Talk to each other out there. Some guys, if you're not having a great day or you're out to a loss, hit somebody up and maybe they're on something or whatever. That's what the community is about. And it's, for me, I'm in the plus right now, big time.
Good stuff, kid. Good
All right.
stuff.
So anyway, back to this Wizards game. Sin City Maverick turned me on to the Wizards. They punch me in the face every time I've taken them, unfortunately. But it does appear that they are making the next step in evolution as far as moving forward. I still struggle betting against Kemba Walker, especially this time of the year, Dan.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just like that. My thing with the Wizards is they went on that West Coast road trip and swept it. And then, actually, I guess they lost the last game to the Timberwolves, but I think they sat a bunch of guys. So, I don't know. I like them, coming off the big home win against the Bulls. This is a 42-26 team. I know it's like, I don't know. I just think they win this game. But again, let's see who they throw out there.
Right on.
Okay.
All right, guys.
As far as hockey's concerned, real quick, I'm just going to throw it out there. Oilers, Sharks. Edmonton Oilers, San Jose Sharks. Yeah, I know the San Jose Sharks got me the other night. I'm going to be stubborn and go back at them again. I'd like this San Jose Shark team. They got the Ducks coming in. I'm hoping Dell can pick it up if he's in goal. I hope he is. Check your goalies, and it's a late game. Both games are 10 o'clock, so if you've got a mess, you might be able to run to that. I love the Edmonton. The Oilers are really a solid team. They've been playing good hockey for the majority of this season, and the Canucks have been shaky. Ducks have been shaky as well, and we know the Shark Tanks are decent, are usually decent at home. They're coming off a loss, so they should bounce back. Those are my two spots. I know, Terrence Mack, I think you said something about the Islanders. That's that Blue Jacket team. Blue Jackets are really good, except they never win when I take them. I'm not taking them. I would not trust the Islanders in that spot. I would not.
Okay.
T-Mac says he's money line parlaying. So he's got the Red Wings money line, the Islanders on the puck line plus 1.5.
Interesting.
That puck line might work, but Columbus is a force.
It's a dangerous play.
Very dangerous.
Columbus is a force.
All right, guys. So that is going to do it for us today. Good show. Dan, welcome back, man. Great to have you back.
Thanks, man. Can't wait. Just getting primed for that baseball show next weekend, man.
Oh, no doubt. So we'll be making that announcement. We'll be putting it out there. The Dr. Dan Evil Genius MLB show will be popping, and Dream is getting ready for it.
I cannot wait.
I know. I cannot wait for Dream to be in the fantasy baseball league. It's awesome. I think he's gonna draft David Price with the number 1 overall pick.
No, I'm going after Tebow.
Tebow, dude.
5-tool player.
Hey, he had a multi-hit game the other day.
He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He can kick field goals.
All
right.
Man.
So listen. Let's get up out of here, guys. I want to thank everybody that's retweeted the show. Let's get into those thank yous real quick, and then we could run back our plays.
Yes.
All right. Let's see who we got out there that's retweeted this morning. Spot Bet. What's going on, Terrence Mack? Good to see you. Terrence Mack, North Carolina looks off the chain right now. You got to be happy with your colors with pride. Shane Whitehead is in the house. KMBU. JDH24. Mr. Tanakis. The Swervin' Irvin is out there in the house. Irvin, I had a little fun with you. I don't know if you caught those pictures I put up, but I did have some fun at your expense. Good to see you back out there this morning. Super Mario to the bank. Handling that plumbing stuff out there. Cash Action Bet Theory for Shark. Mario Martinez. Vegas Girl 92661. Benjamin Rowe. Fast Eddie 72. Bang the boot. Boots GG. My man Slick Rick Lopez. Rick Lopez had the most beautiful parlay that paid off the charts, but he took UCLA minus the points.
Oh, God.
And forgot to hedge out. And I'm like, oh my God, because all he had to do was take. It just was a mess. Rick, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry, Clay. But the parlay was deep. I don't know. He hasn't posted. I don't know if you want to post it for people to take a look at it. But the parlay was deep. He hit me up last night, and my kids had me in a stranglehold, made me play some video games. I didn't get back to him in enough time. But sorry about that, Rick. Joseph Del Rosario's out there. Jeff Ryan as well. Direct Sports Solution. OJFB. Jim Rome is a douche. And so many more. And if I left you out, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it on purpose, but we are going to get out of here. We want to rehash the plays. As far as I'm concerned, in the NCAA, it's going to be Villanova, it's going to be Arizona, and it's going to be Florida State University. And I'm thinking about adding Florida to it as well to go 4. I don't like the 4s, so I may break it up into 2 and 2s with Arizona, Villanova, Florida, and Florida State. I might go it like that. Because I don't like to play all 4 and 1, but those are the 4 teams that I think rock and roll today. Arizona, Villanova, Florida State, and Florida is where I'm at today. Best of luck to everybody. I'm the Dream. Always remember who you with. Make the most of each and every day, because you cannot get this time back.
Dan, where you at?
So I think that the money parlay today is Villanova, Arizona money line parlay. And then I'm going Northwestern plus the 11 and a money line play. Guys, Take that at your own risk. I like it. And then we will end the night with Iowa State and a pick. Best of luck to everybody.
All right, sounds good, guys. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a marathon money line parlay. I am taking all the number 1 seeds to advance. If you put that in, it pays plus 1. Where is it? Hold on. 136. Plus 136. So I think that's good. That puts Villanova, Gonzaga, and the 2 number 1 seeds they were playing tomorrow.
You better money line Northwestern then.
Well, here's the deal. It's kind of a backup play because I have Northwestern in a future. So that's where I'm at with that. Okay? And it's a 400-1 shot. So not bad.
And for those of you that care, Syracuse is up 2-0 in the booty zone.
Is UConn women playing yet?
No, we're trying to get UConn women in the men's tournament next year.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, we love you to death. Go out there. Go easy today. Make all your dreams a damn reality and get that money. Let's go.
Peace.